Hopefully this is the last time you will ever see anything like this on my page. So here's the frustrating thing. When you spend over $4,000 on a camera, you hope that it, is going to last, and it has lasted. It is fantastic for what I'm using it for, but it's got a common issue, and Canon knows about it. It's everywhere across social media, and Canon doesn't do anything about it. And so basically what it is it's this Hotshoe right here. That's what this is. And it connects to my flash trigger. And so what happens is and this happened a lot on the Canon EOS R5 and R6, is the Hotshoe would get loose. And you can see, you see that play in there? So what that means basically is it's not allowing my flash trigger, which sits here, to make the contact in the camera to tell the camera what to do, and basically to tell the flash what to do. If I was to send this off to Canon, it's a $500 fix. It's held in by 4 screws. The problem is that the screws are on the inside of the body. I use the R, or I can definitely use the R, my backup, for portraits, but it's just not my favorite to use for dance work. So I don't have time to send this in to get it repaired, and I don't want to spend $500 to fix 4 screws. So I'm going to try to do it myself. I've watched several YouTube videos. I actually used to fix computers, phones, tablets. It looks fairly straightforward, so I'm going to try it and do it myself. I'm apprehensive because this is my main camera. So I have this little cardboard thing here. Basically, I'm going to kind of use it to kind of keep the camera on top of it. Mainly because, as you can see, my counter is got all kinds of weird colors. And if I drop little screws, this will kind of help me see where the screws are. I've also got this awesome magnetic pad here. So when I actually take screws out, I can kind of put them and they will stay in place. And I will kind of organize them where they need to go. So this is the bottom. So I've got several different screws here, and I'm going to go ahead and keep these low on my little magnet pad, just so I know they're going to be in the low area on the pad, on the magnet. I also kind of like to, when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to organize them on the panel or on the pad, kind of the way that they come off, or the way that they're just, on the thing. So it's kind of like a zigzag. So that's actually how I'm going to do it here, is a zigzag. For the eyepiece here, and basically it's kind of how I'm going to do a lot of this, is when I take off these pieces, I have a horrible memory, and so I'm going to keep this here. Basically, let me put it back into view. So I've got the 2 screws for my eyepiece, and I'm going to keep them together, because otherwise, more than likely, I'm going to forget where it went when I pulled it off. I do have this little magnet thing, you probably saw me here. It can magnetize and demagnetize. It makes really good use, or it comes in really good use whenever I've got a screw that doesn't want to actually come out easy. Just to let you know, I am actually watching a video as I'm creating this video on how to disassemble this body. So we'll see how it goes. By the way, I started this at about 2:05, and when I finish I'll try to remember, hopefully I can remember to let you know how long it actually took me to do this. Watching the video and recording the video. Alright, so I've got a lot of the, or I think all of the exposed screws that you can actually see out. And so now there's quite a few screws that are under the grip on these cameras. And so I have to pull that grip off. That was one of the things that I was very apprehensive about, but from what I've been watching on YouTube, I don't actually have to re-glue them. I can actually just kind of pull it off with this little spudger thing here, and when I go to put it back on, it should basically re-adhere. So whatever Canon did as far as that goes, they did right. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, is pulling the grip off of these areas, kind of over in here too, to be able to get access to the screws that I cannot see. Now these right here are a little bit particular. They kind of hold each other in. There's like a little retaining clip or whatever, little panels here, so I have to be really kind of certain which screws are going into which spot. So that's the top of the three. Looks like they're the same size, but that one is shorter. So I need to make sure that I put that in the right spot. And again, I'll just kind of place these screws where they actually go for the little piece that I pulled out. So now we have this here, this here. So I believe, all right, so I had to step away. But so I think I have all the screws out that I need to have out. So now I can kind of start to separate this thing. So I'm going to be very careful because I know that there's a flex cable in there, and I just need to be very, very careful about pulling this thing apart. But it actually comes apart quite easily. So this is one of those little clips that I was kind of mentioning. It has to go in a specific way when we put it back. But as you can see, there is a little flex cable in there that has to come out, or has to be basically unplugged. So I'm going to take my spudger here, and this is the connector. They're connectors that I'm quite familiar with computers, so I'm just going to kind of gently pry it up. There's no screws holding it in, so it's just a matter of popping it off. And so that's the back. That's the connector. So here's the back of the camera. This is the eyepiece here. And this actually should come out fairly simply. I probably ought to clean it up. It's got a little bit of stuff on it. But it also has another little cable here. And it's actually held in with a different type of connector. And basically what you do is you take this the thin edge here, and you're going to kind of pop it up to release that ribbon cable. You want to be real careful with this one because they're not necessarily flimsy, but they're definitely easy to break. I know with computers, it's basically like a little retaining clip. And if you would break that retaining clip, that ribbon cable, there's nothing really able to hold and lock that retaining clip in. So the eyepiece should just kind of slide right out. And then I'm just going to kind of work that ribbon cable up and out of its connector. And there you go. Here's the camera. And so really what we have, and it might be difficult to see, is there's 4 little screws in here, Phillips screws, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're extremely loose. I don't know if you can actually see the play in those screws as I pop the, let's see here. I'm trying to get it right there. So basically what's happening is I put that flash in, or that flash trigger, and it's heavy, and so it just kind of pulls on it, and it doesn't, or it basically makes it to where those connections aren't making the right connection. Really, really bad way to do that, in my opinion. Granted, I don't have a better solution other than maybe coming top down if possible, but a $500 fix, that's what it costs. So there are little like rubber coverings over the Phillips screws, so you kind of need to work those back so that you can get access to the screws. And you want to kind of be careful because again, you're really close to a flex cable that basically is going to be running all your circuitry for the Hotshoe. Let's see here. That screw is so loose. That is ridiculous. You can't see that, but I mean, it's the little plastic thing is basically what's holding it in there. Otherwise, that screw probably would have fallen out into the camera. I gotta turn it away so I can actually get access to these things. So to screw these back in, I'm actually going to use an extension also, just so I can get a little bit, I don't have to be right up close and personal. And everything that I've read with these is people say to add a little bit of a Loctite or a super glue to these screws. So I bought some Loctite. Man, that screw is just like practically free already. So I did buy some Loctite. I guess there's one that's more heat activated, I guess. That's not what I'm using. And you don't want a lot, just a little bit. I'm actually going to pull that screw out. Yep, we'll just pull it out. It came out. There's one. I'm going to go just a little bit more. Pull that little sleeve back. Let's see here. You don't need to over tighten it, just get it tight. There's one, and that's already firmer up top. I could probably do 2 of these and that would fix my problem, but I'm not going to. Again, just 2 of them. You can already see there's no play in it. This is a common problem. Canon should have had a recall for this. Again, my opinion. It would definitely help if these were magnetized. These are not magnetized like they should be. I guess I can try to magnetize it. I'll add just a little bit more because this stuff dries real quick. So on this very last one, and again, I probably didn't need to do it to any of them, but that screw is so loose, I'm not even having to unscrew it and it came out. That's how bad this is. I didn't even have to unscrew that at all. It just fell out as soon as I released the little tape that was holding it in. That's a shame on you, Canon. Big shame on you. A $500 fix for something that is really common. And there we go. So now we just basically have to put this thing back together and hope that everything works. So basically I'm going to go in reverse, putting this back together. So we've got that little flex cable. We got to kind of feed that back in. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to put my battery grip back in and just do a quick little test, because I don't need to have everything back together to do a test on it. Open that up. So I see my menu screen is back on. Touch seems to work. My eyepiece seems to work, so that's good. So now we can finish putting it back together, and then we'll do a flash test. That's what I love to hear. Awesome. Fix the camera. I don't know if that is good as new, but it is fixed. The Hotshoe works. It's tight. Hopefully the glue holds better than the little plastic pieces that Canon uses. Plastic flaps, literally plastic flaps. Not anything like this, like see-through plastic. It was terrible. It took me just about an hour to actually do, and it isn't that difficult. It's pretty straightforward if you follow some of the videos online. And if you have the issue, you can save yourself $500 plus the shipping fee. And good luck if you do it. Just take your time, go slow. There's no reason to go fast. But good luck, and I am so glad that I got it fixed. All right, till next time, keep shooting. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Hopefully this is the last time you will ever see anything like this on my page.